It was just our little school there next to Clarendon. And so we were involved with more different students that were Hispanic, and then also other Caucasian kids that came to that school. And so one kid called me a coon, and I said, well, Dad, someone called me a coon at school. I don't know what that is. He says, oh, that's a derogatory name. So I didn't know that, and because they didn't say things such as that around us. And when they had civil rights discussions, they used words, they used code words. Like if they were talking about Caucasian people, they would use W. If they're talking about black people, African American people, they'd say B. So they'd say, the BBB or the B or the W's or whatever. So we didn't know what they were discussing to keep us from having negative thoughts. So then, of course, through the process, when you get into about 5th grade, 6th grade, and all that other stuff, as you see, I was marching with my parents, so I knew what was going on because I'm marching, and so I knew exactly what was going on. And then Martin Luther King, we would hear Martin Luther King. My dad would, on Sundays, we would listen to records of Martin Luther King's speeches. So like I've heard a lot of his speeches, even though everybody talks about let's have a dream. That's a good speech, but he has many, many better or as good speeches, which were, The Dilemma, which was really good. And then when he's talking about his kids, when he would drive by an amusement park, and the kids always would want to go to the amusement park, and he didn't want to tell his kids they couldn't go because they were black children, and they didn't let colored kids go to the park or the amusement park, and they would see that every time they took him, they would go to the airport. So yes, the answer is yes, you learn about racial issues early. And it was on TV too, because at that time, you'd see fire hoses and people in Mississippi and marching and all that stuff at Malcolm X. So the conversation was always around.